to the stream. My name is Lee. And today we're having a little bit of fun. So it is not quite 2 o'clock yet, so I'm doing all right. I have a fish now. His name is Jordan. He is thriving ish. It's hard to tell, but he seems to be doing all right. Swimming around, having some tasty treats. He hasn't refused to eat or gone mopey or turned upside down. So I think we're starting off on a good foot. He's settled into the tank a little bit. He's doing okay. So I got the fish all set up, and then I got distracted because I'm trying to email some people. But welcome on in. I am Lee, your humble host, obviously. I usually say disclaimer not a woman, but I think at this point we're getting close to the disclaimer being not a man. But you can see I have two pride flags. Neither one is the traditional rainbow, but welcome. Um, and that is a genderqueer pride flag, not the fucking whatever the turfs think it is. They've been trying to do it because they're the colors the suffragettes. So the suffragette movement. Okay, it's Pride Month. I get to have a little bit. So back in the England was first organizing, trying to get women to vote, or right to vote, which is very reasonable. If men have the right to vote, should too, right? And they had a parliamentary system, so they did have some voting going. They were trying to say, okay, vote for everyone, right? They used uh, uh, green and purple as and white as the banners as their colors traditionally, and that's cool. So when the queer flag came out, they used those colors. I don't know if that was the exact reason, but they have similar. They have similar, probably similar vibes. Um, and they used those colors too, and it was. Um, I could probably look up who designed the genderqueer flag because honestly, um, um, yes, and I might remember because it's a decent source. Marilyn Roxy. So um, yes, Creative Commons Attribution License. So the purple goes on top. Um, Lavender, white, light green. Okay. That's the one I have. I bought it. I don't know if it's exactly right, but I bought it from someone who was selling. I saw someone selling Pride flags, and not only that, it wasn't even Pride or anything. This guy just had them because he was in New York City and probably knew that people would. We did start the stream, didn't we? Yes. Okay. Anyway, so I bought that one. I hung it on the wall as best I could. It is being held on the closet door with scotch tape. I realize a closet door of all places, but yeah, it is being held on with scotch tape. Because my life is a mess, but it's held really well, and it's in view when I stream, which is always nice. So Marilyn Roxy, big thank you to them. Uh, Yay. But oh yeah, so I don't know if their thoughts were that or because they talked to other people. They were in concert with other people. Let's see. I can show you the wiki. In fact, I will. Now this is when I plug my Discord. So we are going to do some writing. I promise. I just tend to do. Why did dogs? Yeah, I want chat. Yes, I want chat in. I want chat integrated. No, I want. Yes, there we go. Okay, chat is properly integrated. If I can put chat in OBS, then I can type either way, and it works very well. So that's our thing. Oh, right, I'm going to plug the wiki. Also, I'm going to do this so that it doesn't make noise. Oh, and I have to go into this and tell everyone that I'm streaming, which is important. And yes, and Alcantara probably starts streaming soon. She tends to stream around 2. So she said she was going to start her stream at 2 now. Okay. Oh, but the um, plan. What was I going to say? Um, Blue and pink. So lavender is blue and pink mixed. White is the same reason they have white in the trans flag and the non-binary flag. And inverse. Oh, so it's inverse of lavender. The color theory inverse of lavender. Okay, cool. That's that's it. Okay. Lavender, that's about the color you get when you mix if you're if you're making a trans flag because and you're painting it, which I do constantly, and you mix them together, you get purple, that lavender color on the genderqueer flag, which makes sense, actually. I got some paint that color in my hands, and actually, I feel like there's a metaphor. Anyway, I paint the trans flag quite frequently for protest signs, and yes. So, there's gonna be an ad break. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a stretch break, and then I ping it on the wiki. Yeah, we're gonna do a stretch, and then I will. Yeah, I'm gonna check on the fish. We're gonna do a stretch, and then I will be back, and we will go back to streaming. We're actually gonna get some writing done. I had an old AU that I just remembered existed, and I kind of want to write it down. So we're gonna do that. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna do some battles. I will. If anyone in chat wants to do a group battle, I'm going to poke at some people, ask about a group battle, and we can do one. Um, yeah, we could stream for about an hour. It's gonna be a fun time. So I'm gonna start the ad any minute now. So I'm gonna stretch. Oh, okay. Has misophonia, I think is the term. It's Hello? Hello? Yes. Yeah. Yes. Okay, hang on. I don't have a chase card. I don't have a chase card. I have a chase card. Okay. Sorry about that. I am back. Hang on. Let me. All right. Let me get back. Whoop. Hello. I am back. Someone was trying to call me, and it turned out that um, um, what was I gonna say? That they were calling from Chase Bank saying, "Oh, you can have a rate reduction," which is fine, except that I don't have a card with Chase. Um, uh, I also wanted to text my friend because he says, "Text me whenever you're about to stream," and I'm like, I forgot to text. So okay, now I throw that away. It landed on a soft surface. Don't. So there's that, and we're back. So the AU I wanted to talk about. So Kefis. Oh, that's Kefis is the little brother of one of my friends' D&D characters that I have been writing about. Oh, and then yes. So on Sunday, I've been also trying to organize. So on Sunday, June 21st, about 10 a.m., I have several players, three so far. We can probably get more, who have agreed to gather for a fundraising stream for Trans Lifeline. I think it's for trans. There's also other charities though, and I'm gonna see if I can't coordinate with Trans Lifeline and if they, um, and there's a couple other cool, you know, peer charities. But I usually do Trans Lifeline and I missed last year. I was gonna do one toward the end of the year and I didn't, and I'm gonna make up for it by doing one in Pride and maybe another one in. Well, I don't know if they do Trans Heart October anymore. I was talking to them and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna do something in November instead. We're moving it back a month." And they're like, "Oh, well, we're actually gonna do it in December to coincide with the other thing." And then, but that was year before last, I think. Um, so yeah, we're gonna do it in June this year, and it's gonna be awesome. um, maybe I'll do another different one in October. Like maybe for Trans Day of Remembrance, we'll do, which is usually in November. There's one in no, yeah, no, Trans Day of Remembrance is in November, and Trans Day of Visibility is in I mixed the two dates up, which I know is horrible. Um, um, yeah, Trans Day is November 20th. Okay, it's November 20th. Yeah, Trans Day of Remembrance is November 20th. So yeah, we'll probably do um, another stream on like their fundraising for someone else. But for Trans Life, yeah, we're gonna do Trans Lifeline, and then if we want to do for that one, we might do. having the libraries having their fundraiser now. We could do the Trans Lifeline in November. Okay, but point is, we're gonna do a Pride themed fundraiser. It's gonna be awesome. We're setting up the. It's gonna go to a good organization either way, and for sure, I'm doing a Trans Lifeline fundraiser. The question is whether it's this one or the other one, but I think Trans Lifeline. What we're gonna do is we're going to have some fun people. A couple of them have never done fundraising streams before. So yay, and a couple, friends who haven't been on the channel before. That's the problem with having the fun, the game is there's always a lot of really cool people who are really good allies who want to help and who I can ping occasionally for like, hey, do you want to do a fundraising? And I'm like, yes. Problem is, there are so many cool people I want to have on the channel in various capacities, and fundraising stream is a great chance to do it. Um, but that means that I have to, there's a bunch of people, and then it's like, well, whose schedules line up, and but it's always like I don't want to ask the same people over and over again because I have so many different people I want to play with, and it's just that's the problem is cool people I want to the list of cool people I want to play D&D with and is very long, and all of them are absolutely trans allies who uh, would be down with donating, to helping Trans Lifeline to help people, and so it's a matter of trying not to do the same people over and over again, but giving everyone a chance to be on the channel and hang with us, and because none of them are like not a lot of none of them are really cool enough to bring people with them, so it's a matter of you know. Anyway, point being, we do Trans Lifeline. So Sunday, June 21st. It's actually we're doing a Rogue Trade game on Saturdays warm up, and we'll probably have the donation link open then. And then the 21st, we'll start the stream. It'll be yeah, Sunday, June 21st in 2026. I'm gonna specify 2026 because I do archive these, and there's a very distinct possibility that it'll be like 2028, and this will still be sitting there and in a playlist somewhere, and someone will happen to click on it, and apparently there are people who just like the sound of my voice and like to have it on the background, which is cool, all told. But and I'm not opposed to people occasionally watching my streams. Like I'm honored, but it's also that means that dates are if it stays up for years, like oh it's in June, and then it'll be May of 2028, and then like oh oops it was a different June. Anyway, point being, yes, June 2026, June 21st. It's going to be the fundraising stream. If you see this video before then, you should come. And also donate to Trans Lifeline. You can donate to Trans Lifeline any old time. They absolutely need money year round. But I'm going to, if you hold off just a few weeks until I do the fundraiser, in a week and a half, what you can do is you can put your cash toward getting level ups for the characters. Essentially, those of you who know the channel know that I do fundraisers every once in a while. You do Trans Lifeline, ACLU occasionally, and um, um, uh, yeah, done ACLU. I've done a few others, other good causes. Um, but what I was gonna say is yes, we do raise a lot of money for Trans Lifeline, which is great. But the only downside to that is there's other people. Everyone needs funds to so many people. It's so many costs. What was I gonna say? Oh yes, but those of you who've been on fundraiser streams with me before know that basically I give my players a magical deck, and the in-game universe reason varies. But they have magical deck of cards, which I represent in an actual deck, and then we draw them, and essentially the players get magic items based on what the card pulls, and I pull the most random magic items I can find from like a bajillion different supplements, and then link all the supplements I get them from. Yeah, because I have so many cool supplements that I never get to use, so I figured we'll pull random magic items from them, and sometimes they're just random Italian foods that have fun properties, especially for Broncolonia one, where we're doing a lot of. One time it was a D6 cows, which if I recall correctly, the players then decided, hey, we can use those cows as dowry because you mentioned the cute pasta maker. I'm like, yes. Like, well, maybe we could seduce. I'm like, well, you can offer, and they're like, I'll do a serenade. I'm like, you know what? Yes. I was thought back to the NPC and like, you know what? Yeah, he would absolutely like a ticket out of the life, and you know, go for it. Yeah, he would be absolutely down for marrying, and I am, you know, he would absolutely be down for a wedding ring. So they used the cows. Like it was something so random. Like I've had ones that like had cheeseburger of paradise that it made the area you know um in a certain radius just really really nice weather at a certain radius of the thing. Anyway, fun magic items from various supplements, which I'll link anyway. So it's very exciting. So if you donate, the more money we raise, the more cards they can pull, and almost certainly we're gonna raise enough to pull the whole deck, hopefully. But you if we do the library, well, no, we're gonna do Trans Lifeline. It's gonna be great. We'll think of another like maybe Trevor Project we can do on Trans Safe Libraries. We can do someone else. I know Trevor Project is a big one, and they are a great organization, and they do a lot of good work. But a lot of people fundraise for them, so I was trying to find other people who might need more too. But that is um um you know exciting stuff. Okay, we are 100 and out of whack, and we haven't even started writing anything. So uh um yes. Okay, so that was yes, and so we're gonna do Broncolonia again. I think the last time I ran a Trans Lifeline fundraiser to Broncolonia, and they actually raised up the. I think at that point the cards got them to Sister Katarina. Sister Vincenza had the cards, and she had made a deal with the Turquoise to do a if you want a physical transition in a world that has a lot of magic but doesn't have tech. Hi, Darth Torlin. Oh, you have a watch streak. That's pretty cool. Um, yay. Hang on. Wow. What was I gonna say? Oh yes, you have a watch streak. Um, but what? Yeah. So the point on that was, yeah, we they to get a physical transformation, a physical transition, not yeah, physical transition. If you can't have HRT, what you can do is you can hire a magician. You can do magics, different kinds of magics, will work, and different people will help. You can greater true polymorph. Have headcanon that it works, and that certain priests are religious orders are honor bound to try and help people transition by using high level magic. But getting ninth level spell slots is not easy. So there's that. Why did I leave my frickin' thing in the bob under there? That's gonna be a thing. Okay, we'll figure that out. Cross that bridge when we come to it. As they say. I mean, water is pretty good coolant, so I think we'll be okay. Maybe we'll 8 minutes. Okay, premier bills off. So, all right, let's get this set up. Oh, my point on that was, yeah, we're gonna do Ranklini. So that's fun. It's gonna be awesome. Ooh, maybe I'll ask him. I have he was in the last ACLU one, which was my last fundraiser. Um, okay. Um, let's see. Let's see. Which is still um um yeah. So I wanted to talk to the people who ran Broncolonia last time I emailed them and said, hey, we're doing this, and okay, hang on. We're gonna open up. We're gonna actually do some writing because it's already 10:19. We haven't even done any writing yet. Not that one. Not that one. Let's see. That one's for what I'm supposed to be working on. You know what we're gonna do? Oh, that one is a Homestuck fanfic that I had that I never actually did anything with. So I was starting with that one, trying to figure that out. Okay. But then I have to timing and anyway, my point was yes, we're gonna do um yeah, that was Hell of a Town, which um okay. Right, maybe we'll do so there's two possibilities, and I would think normally I would ask chat which one you want to do. Um but I don't have anyone in chat. This is the thing about streaming when I stream is that I don't always have a lot of people in chat, which is fine except when it's not. Let me um try hmm, um let's see. Maybe what we can do is um work on this. Um okay, Haman's refuge on the alien planet. So the two stories for anyone who is in chat. Yeah. Oh, okay, Dark. Since you're listening, which one should I do? Should I do the Homestuck fanfiction about the Mother Grub, and what would happen if Jack Noir hadn't done what he did, or because I have a whole AU of what the trolls would have done if Jack Noir hadn't done what he did, and or should I do um, or should I do the one which is this is what happens when humans refugeed off Earth, and a certain group of them ended up in this one place, living as essentially this kind of human. They were human, and they were living in an alien society in like as refugees. I actually did a different one that premise for uh, an anthology that it didn't get accepted. It was, but I did write it. But this one was a different one. Specifically, I was going to do it as a oh, okay, apparently you do like to eat on the surface. That's fine. You can do that. Okay. Checking on my fish. I have fish. His name is Jordan. He is doing well. I think he just apparently likes to eat off the surface, which apparently none of the other fish did that. They'd wait till the flakes drifted and then eat them in midair, but apparently he likes to eat over the surface, which can give them upset stomachs if they eat too much air, because of course it can. But anyway, that's what the very nice man at the fish store told me. But what I was going to say was, so there's that. So I could do the Homestuck AU, or I could do the Humans as Refugees one. That one was originally designed to be a radio one. I might have a copy of it somewhere. Where it was going to be a pod fic. It was like originally designed to be in the vocal format. Um, friendly flesh and blood computer voice. It was going to be anyway. So I did that, but um, we anyway. Which do you think? Since you are in chat, um, um, yeah. so that's that, and then what was I gonna say? Um, I know we have a mm, there we go. So I need that. And um, oh yes, you're working on something currently. You've got your own thing you're working on. Fair enough. Fair enough. I why is I'm also trying to there's that and oh I can, all I have to do is this. Hang on. All I have to do is that, and then we can yeah okay then it evens out sorta. Okay, it's close enough. Well, now I have to figure this out. All right, since we're here, I'm gonna do. I have a quest that requires me to have as many monsters. So what we're gonna do is, yay. Okay, we're gonna bring this guy up, and so we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna. I also need 111 of these little guys, so I figure two birds with one stone is the best way to do quests anyway. So let's do it. But yes. Yeah, I need to. Ideally, I'm going to defeat 20 monsters today. I don't know how much that's going to go, but we'll see. Um, Wordy Girl's. Oh! Did Wordy Girl do a writing prompt? Um, I know. I don't know if she did one. Did she post it in her Discord or the main Discord? Because I haven't been to her Discord in a little while. I know it's one of the. It's fun. I definitely pop in there for camp all the time, but camp's not until July, if I recall correctly. Um, anyway, I will start on this and then we'll go from there. Because these are small. These we can bop out in a few minutes sentence. Um, 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 okay. Alright, now I'm gonna have to do research. Ugh. Okay. Alright. Because Larkin jumped out of his tank one time, I'm very cautious, but he seems to just be eating, which is fine. Little fish can eat. Non-threatening. Non-threatening, yep. Okay. Um, um, guess we're writing Homestuck fanfic for now. Alright, oh, the Daily Drabbles. I'd forgotten that she had that. I know I have Wordy Girl somewhere. Yes, Infinite Imaginations. It's in there somewhere. Daily Drabbles. Oh. Hop, skip, and a jump. Okay. Sounds fun. Um, just trying to keep an eye on Jordan. I will eventually. No. Honey, no. I have maybe bought. I always feel bad because I feel like maybe they're a human shell who's just desperate and therefore willing to try and keep, maybe earn a commission. But so I always let them hang out and watch because they're not spewing racist hate or anything. Which is, it's not against my terms of service to try and advertise to me. So I mean, if I were more in on the grind, then having a couple extra AI viewers would be able to bring in some ad revenue or whatever. But it's against Twitch's terms of service, and I actually care about being streaming on Twitch more than just monetarily. So it's stupid to risk it. And also, like, I want people to watch because they actually like to watch, you know. Um, um, yeah. When July Camp comes around, I think, because that'll also be the tournament, and Wordy's camp tend to coincide. Um, okay, so yay for us. Okay, so all right, beautiful. Okay, so flags we're learning. Okay, so now we go back here and we do more writing. Hallucinations. Okay, hallucinate. Drug to and hallucinogenics. It is hallucinogenics. Hallucinogenics keep you compliant. Um, um, right. Um, um, okay, wait. Um, um, okay, like a sheet. Alright. Yes, the sheet in question is Kanata. Okay. Um, Okay. Um, Beautiful. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Now I also from the bottom. Okay. So there we go. So we're doing that. I think I could use another stretch break, and pre-rolls are on again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another stretch break, and then what we're going to do is going to see if we have any bites on. Doesn't seem like anyone is interested in doing group battles, but that's okay. Um, 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 uh, okay. There we go. So let's do more of this. I think we're chugging along, and I think I'm doing well. So the idea behind this one, I'll get another monster set up. Let's see what's a good one. Is that I'll do another one? A couple more of these. The We can do a longer one, I think. The idea behind this one was that if Jack Noir hadn't screwed up their session and then double reach around and tied intrinsically all four sessions because they both had to scratch and etc. etc. If it had just been before us trolls failed, scratched, got the alternative trolls, they succeeded, then what would have happened is they would have had the trolls would have had created Earth as usual, but instead of doing this weird thing where they're stuck either there are two possibilities. One, they slipped through and dodged Jack and managed to slip through it to Earth at some point and just ended up on Earth, and they won. They got their new world. It's just they were in a really janky weird situation with it and got to weird and maybe you could do some trickiness with the timeline, so they ended up at some point in Earth history just there. There are trolls now on Earth, and everything that stems from that. That was what this part of that. The other thing is actually why I had D10s, and then I was able to show I was taking college classes and I had a statistics professor. That is completely a tangent. But I had a stats professor, and I was taking a statistics class, and he was talking about dice and probability and how when you rig dice, apparently you rig them as pairs and you don't just rig one, which I thought was kind of stupid because I would love to have a couple of d6s that always rolled sixes for like Fireball. That would be great. So like always doing like if you're apparently the big thing with rigging dice is people rig them for craps. In that case, you want a 3 and a 4. Like it's absolutely imperative you roll a 3 and a 4 for whatever reason. Although then you wouldn't even because then you need a pair of them. Although statistically speaking, if you had one that always rolled a 4 and you want a 3 and a 4, that would double your chances, right? So technically, you still wouldn't have to do them in pairs. Um, and hypothetically, it was with magnets, but like you could just rig one to always roll 3 and one to always roll 4, and then have a bunch that, and then have like a handful that were rigged. Some were always roll 4 and always roll 3, so the chance that you'd grab I don't know. I feel like there's different ways to do it. But my point on that was, I was like, wait, a D6, and then he specified because he was thought like, what the heck would you do with he didn't even conceptualize that. Yes, there are plenty of D6 that. Oh, but the reason I had was I had two percentile set of percentile dice in my coat pocket because I was doing this AU specifically from a while ago, and then I recently brought it forward and restarted it. That was what you see. This is tangent. This is why we do tangents. Okay, hang on. So um um. Okay, the question is spoken Alternian because written Alternian. No, written Alternian isn't like English, but spoken Alternian is. There's some interesting crossover as to Hussey doing, or not Hussey, Doc Scratch, and possibly Andrew Hussey too, because he's a character in Homestuck, or they're a character in Homestuck as well. Yeah, they're now a they. I think they decided to. They are not transing their gender, but they are NBs, which is good for them. I'm honestly, you know, always good to people finding out their true gender and working and living their best lives. But what did Hussey say? Oh yeah, Hussey said they, which yeah, okay, hang on. Blah. All right. Okay, you're a hungry little fish. Okay. Um. Right. Oh, but so Doc Scratch, within the Homestuck canon, did mess around a lot and may or may not have convinced. Oh, Doc Scratch. Oh, right. So Doc Scratch may or may not have had the Alternian speak English, and there was some debate about what did Alternian speak? Was it English that they spoke? Oh no, they speak English, but she doesn't. That would be an interesting one. Okay, so the question is that's the fun one. Trolls speak Alternian in Elysian Party's part is similar to English, but so they speak what's essentially something like Tok Pisin, where it's like or like a Jamaican Creole, where it's not Creole. Okay, so technically pigeons are Creoles. Languages are a thing, but essentially, what happens when you have a colonial power, but also a bunch of people who speak another language who are you bring a bunch of people who speak a ton of different languages under the province of colonial power, mostly by slave trade, and what you do, and they're all stuck together trying to communicate, so they end up with a language that's very similar to the colonized language, but not quite. Haitian is very similar to French, but not quite like that. And so they're mutually intelligible, but then they sort of drift apart, but you can kind of see where they came from. It starts as a pidgin, and then once it gets its own grammatical momentum going, it becomes a Creole. And then when it becomes its own language, there's that's a political aspect. The one exception is pidgin, which is a Hawaiian essentially an English Creole, but it's called pidgin because that's what they call it. As a and so everyone's kind of like, yes, this is pidgin, which is a Creole, because Hawaiian pidgin, which is a Creole. It is a language that people use. A dialect. It's not quite. It's on the dialect side. Like you can if you hear people talking, you're like, okay, you're parsing it as they don't speak English well, but they're speaking English, but it's not quite. And there's actually an interesting thing happening. Sorry, linguistics was my undergrad degree. I have an undergrad degree in linguistics, so I know a lot of stuff. Not as much as I used to know and stuff, but oh, right. So they have actually, but people realizing this Barrio English, they have put Hispanic kids in ESL when they're not actually Spanish speakers necessarily. Like they can speak English perfectly natively. It's just that they're speaking a very specific subset of English that so their native language isn't Spanish exactly. It's or at least one of their native languages is English. They're not ESL students. They're just speaking a variety of English that's kind of native to the immigrant communities called Barrio English, and then which is a whole phenomenon. But anyway, Yeah, because immigrant communities have their own slang and stuff, and you get what essentially is a new dialect of English. But then trying to teach these kids as if they're Spanish speakers trying to learn English doesn't really work because they're not exactly like they know they have a native's understanding of this English. It's just they only the variety of English people around them speak that they learned is not standard American English as the white teachers know it. So there's a miscommunication there, which is interesting, I think. Um, but yeah, it's okay. Uh, this is gonna be okay. Yay. All right, I'm gonna do another stretch break, I think, and we'll give people time. Let me check again to see if anyone um, responded. Um, I might go back and do. We'll see. Let me do my stretch break, and if you wouldn't mind watching an ad, and then we'll have pre-roll ads off if anyone else joins the stream later. So win-win. Everyone snack, also stretch and hydrate. That's important too. Yeah. Um, all right. So yeah. All right, I'm back. How you doing? You doing alright? Okay. Hello, hello. Okay, so um, yeah. The fact the fish is eating, I think, is a very good sign. But he's settling in. Oh, yeah, he's settling in. All right. I have fish. I have a little guy. Sorry, it's I like having a little guy, just some little friend who lives um a creature. It's nice to have a creature in the house. Um, uh, it's not Maria. I like Maria, but I also like having a little critter in the house. We can't have anything with fur or feathers because Maria's has terrible asthma and it's bad. So even my hypoallergenic dogs tend to not do so well with her. So we do fish. It's a lovely little thing. Um, so I got a little fish. And Jordan, yes. Okay, so we will keep going as well. Let's do it. Uh, um, you are. Yes, we're doing present tense, right? Doesn't occur. Yes, we're doing present tense. Yeah, we're doing present tense, second person. Um, um, yes. You don't quite know where you're at. Entirely bright. And you hear the waves. Mostly remember. They weren't actually moving at all, which is off because the last thing you remember, you were on a boat. On a boat, everything always moved. So even when you were lying down, everything was moving constantly. Right now, you are absolutely still in the way that only you are on land. Okay. Um, we're gonna make a paragraph break here. I think this could use a paragraph break. No, you want an actual. There we go. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay. Okay, the question is, what language does she speak natively? That is, or do you speak? Yeah, it is she, or at least um, a cis woman. Whether or not, yeah, I'm gonna go with she because that's an important distinction that she is a cis woman. That is actually very important plot wise that she is a cis woman, or at least AFAB. I know the terminology with intersex people existing is a little dicey. Parasex woman. That's cis parasex, which means it doesn't have any intersex thing. She's just got a full, typical female, which is good because that is important to plot. Um, um, yes. Uh, okay. Um, trying to figure out what her timeline is. Is there anything that um uh um unconscious body and spell unconscious right? Um, okay. Yep, that's the problem with text editors on the interwebs is you cannot do tab because it um okay. Okay, so that means that they need to be in a place where speaking like it was plausible that they would have learned English, um, which does rule out um well anyway a large swath of European history. I mean it doesn't necessarily she's European, but I feel like that fits the vibe I'm going for. It's from Europe, perhaps Hong Kong. Hmm. Hong Kong, um, but Cantonese speaking Hong. Wait, that is a thought from like India or Hong Kong. I suppose because it would be okay. So the fact that she's on a ship crossing the ocean means kind of puts her, in an upper merchant class. Maybe I was thinking she was going to go marry on the passage. That was a thought. I had kind of pieced it together. She's definitely in the age of wooden sail. Um, it depends on which way you're going, though. If she was taking Paris Seago, okay, that was in 17. Yeah, so it would be English if she had learned English. Um, yeah, because that would be yeah. Well, she probably learned a bunch of different things, and then English is one of them. Maybe I'm trying to think when English became the language to know. Like in modern times, English is the language to know, so people all over the world learn it as a second language rather frequently. But I don't know when that started, and historical nonsense because I was thinking 1970s, but I'm like, no, I okay, originally conceived of um it being, but I think I want to push it backward again. So maybe, um, yeah, okay, um, East India, yeah, okay, yeah, so East, okay, hang on, history. When was it founded? Okay, oh, it had its own flag. Um, founded in 1600, dissolved in 1874. That gives us a 274-year period. Um, Let me check something. I want to make her. Maybe. I don't necessarily want to make her British. Dutch colony southeast. So 1800 to 1949. So that gives us a 74-year period, which I think is pretty solid. And um um okay. Dutch East India Company. March of six. Okay, so the state of 20-year monopoly to carry out tea trade in Asia. The shares of the company could be purchased at any citizen Dutch Republic and bought and sold in open air secondary markets, one of which became the Amsterdam Stock Exchange. Okay, so dust that yes, because that's where stock happened. That was the um first big sea voyages were the first reason people had stocks because they needed to raise capital quickly to buy these ships, and then they were stakeholders, and funding them became like a big deal. So pooling funding from large numbers of moderately wealthy individuals became a big thing, and then such quasi-government powers and limited to wage war, imprison and execute convicts, negotiate treaties, strike its own coins, and establish colonies. Um, uh, um, VOC is the Dutch abbreviation for it. Company known as the Dutch Charter Company. Okay, so the Dutch between Asian trade. So Asian goods, and so the East India Company was a British company, and they existed at the same. Oh yeah, so this is probably yes. Okay, so it's somewhere in that. So 1800 was when the Dutch East India Company collapsed. The Dutch East India Company, the territory that they had conquered and claimed for themselves. Essentially, the Dutch government was like, okay, they need this needs to be like an actual. They need actual government. We're going to actually do government things. So the government took over all of the area that the Dutch East India Company had. It was just basically corporate holdings that were stolen from natives because that's what you could just do back then. Um, and we're getting to the point where companies are getting that powerful again, and we do not want that. Um, so, yeah, we're trying to do that. So, the way. Sorry, I'm just checking on. I had one fish who, he'd come up, he jumped right out of his tank. So he's near now that Dorian is near the surface. I'm trying to be cautious um, of that, but he seems to be okay. He just wants to have fish flakes, which you know what, he can have his tasty treats. I don't mind. What was I gonna do? Um, yes. Yes, the Lavender Society. Yes. Okay, so um, we're doing a lot of nonsense. Oh, right. So Dutch. So okay. So she is of the Dutch, but then that would make sense that she learned English because that would make sense as someone who was, her father was a fairly high-ranking officer, like a mid to high-level officer in the Dutch East India Company, and he was dragging her over there for some purpose, and then the ship crashed. She hit her head, washed up here. Okay, yes, that's how that goes. That was how I had planned it out originally. So yes, she's of the Dutch East India Company, the daughter of powerful Dutch. Yes, and her, but that means she had studied English, and because that made sense to know the language of your rivals. Which okay, this tracks, but it's not her first language, so she's not necessarily that good at it. Um, um, yes, and right. So I think what I'm going to go for in terms of canon. Oh, I should have hit the thingy to make it thingy. I'm supposed to be doing battles. Um, oh, we're gonna have to end the stream soon anyway. But maybe. Let's see. Doing okay time wise. Let's see. Because we got so distracted, but I did figure out a lot. We're gonna write all this down. we're gonna write down the notes. So we're gonna at the top here, and we're gonna actually, you know what we're gonna do? Silly, we're gonna we're gonna go to here. 150. Okay, now we have to do one of these. That's how we're gonna do. All right. Actually, that's easy mode. Let's do hard mode. Because it's half an hour, so it's well, if we fail, you know, that's when it's time to end the stream. So we're gonna do one last one. It's gonna be a tough one. Not gonna be easy bait for later. Okay, are we ready? Let's do it. Um. Um. Uh. Spent. Right. Yeah, he is competent. He is. This is not Nepo Baby. This is someone who, yes, might have had a leg up, but he is actually good at what he does. Now, how good? But, um, we have to give her a name too. A Hmm. Oh. Actually, if her um okay. Lower okay, so no. I know it. She's marrying up. Um Um, okay. Um, okay, so is it. Hmm, um, okay. I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, so this is. We have a whole history of this main character now. I just need a name for her. Jakarta. Johann von Oldenbarnet. Jacoba. Jacoba. Okay, her name is Jacoba because she's actually based on the daughter of the founder of the head of the East India Company. So I think we got a good name for her. So that was difficult that Dutch East India officer might name their daughter. So we're naming her that. And plus, then he would have known about Jacoba and maybe named her after the daughter of a higher official because psychology. So yes, all right. Um, had been, oh, actually, yes. Yes. Alright, that's right. That's actually a fun one. Okay, unfortunately, um, um, yes. Right, so that, right, that means I need to change all of that. Okay, there's that. Okay, so, I think we'll leave it there. Alright, now I have to go and change that to, because she knows there was a fight. Actually, no, does she remember the fight? She might have blacked out. She did hit her head pretty bad, so she might have blacked out that chunk of things, and then we'll slowly start to come back to her. Oh, right, we were attacked. The ship was attacked again, and okay, but that is neither here nor there. We didn't end up writing what I thought we were gonna write, but we wrote something cool, and I appreciate you all hanging out with me and writing. We made progress toward our quests. We have a few more. Um, um, boom. Eight. We got 8 battles. Okay. So that's starting to get where we need to be. Okay. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I think I need to prep before work, but let's do it. Let's see. Um, okay. Um, Thank you all for watching. I think Darth might have been the only person actually in there, but that's okay. Um, Small stream. Thank you all. I will see you all some point soon. Um, if you wanna talk stuff before then, there's the Discord. It's pretty awesome. All right. Now we're gonna raid. Is Alcantar on? Sable's on, so we can raid Sable. Alcantar is Alcantar on. Raid Sable. Raid. Um, yeah, no, we're raiding Alcantar. We said we'd raid her, so we're raiding her. Let's go. Raiding Alcantar. Come on. Off we trot. She's doing Virtual Fighter 4. Okay, yep. She's doing fighter game. Remember, take care of yourselves, and if you are following, you have an emoji that you can use for raids. It's the orange one. All right, are we ready? Let's do it.